Yeah, well, after 50 years of levodopa being a very effective therapy, one that makes the most sense for treating a patient with, we now have some improved delivery systems. We have therapies that are much longer acting and offer very high levels of continuous control without causing dyskinesias as a peak effect. In addition, rapid onset of effect with an inhaled form of levodopa is very exciting as a rescue therapy. So for levodopa therapeutics, it looks like we're finally getting a level of control over a drug that otherwise is extremely irregular in its absorption. Now, beyond levodopa, we have dopaminergic agonists, which really haven't led to much further improvements that weren't there 20 or 30 years ago. But what we are learning is their role in therapy a little bit better and also their adverse effects. And so I think there's far less of dopaminergic agonist as the way to control the motor fluctuating patient and more reliance on levodopa. Now, non-dopaminergic therapies are also quite exciting. We've seen one of the class of the non-dopaminergic therapies, istradefylline, going on the market in Japan and improving motor fluctuations. Whether this will succeed in getting approved in the US and Europe remains to be seen, but the notion of going downstream from the dopamine system in Parkinson's is alive and well, and in fact that's become the mainstay of advanced Parkinson's therapeutics with deep brain stimulation, going beyond this pathway of dopamine replacement that can lead to control of tremors, involuntary movements, and maybe other problems, including balance in Parkinson's. There's a long list of unmet needs with Parkinson's, such as cognitive impairment, hallucinations, and treating the underlying disorder itself, as well as balance problems, freezing of gait, and so on. So each of these calls for their own forms of therapeutics, and it might be that a new drug will help out with these, certainly not dopaminergic drugs, but necessarily acting on other pathways that we know are affected in Parkinson's. It seems to be the way ahead. Deep brain stimulation or gene therapy approaches getting inside the brain, may also prove to be the keys to dealing with these long-term problems. And for neuroprotection, for slowing down the disease, keeping alpha-synuclein from depositing in neurons, keeping the mechanisms that might be causing the alpha-synuclein to aggregate as the final common pathway of the disease process, might be the therapies of the future. And I think that there's some exciting research ongoing right now, although there have been more than 24 clinical trials of neuroprotection that haven't been successful. There are several ongoing right now, including monoclonal antibodies against alpha-synuclein, that have a very strong rationale for why they should work, and we hope they will be successful. And lastly, there's just a huge industry of research, academic research, biotech research, big pharma research, that is going after the nooks and crannies of the diversity of what Parkinson's is. The freezing of gait problem is a good example. There's electrical stimulation of the brain with wearable devices, as well as drugs, as well as biobehavioral training effects, all of which might be successful. And there seem to be open boundaries for where researchers take an interest in Parkinson's. And the transgenic mouse and other animal models are also going to very much enhance our understanding of the disease better than the models of the past to help us develop new therapies.